I think I've just seen one of the weirdest mainstream movies released this year, and I don't know how to feel about it. On one hand, I applaud its audacity, but make no mistake, this movie is fucking bonkers. Here are my immediate thoughts on The Watchers. The Watchers is the auspicious filmmaking debut of Ishana Night Shaymalan, who served as its writer and director. The big hype around this is obviously Ishana is the daughter of that madman auteur himself, M. Night Shaymalan, who also served as a producer on the film. M. Night also has his own film coming out later this year, Trap, so the family is just busy. The Watchers, based on the book of the same name by A.M. Shine, follows Mina, played by Dakota Fanning, a 28-year-old artist who gets stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland. Finding shelter, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside three strangers who are stalked by mysterious creatures every night. So in 2021, James Wan unleashed Malignant onto planet Earth, and it became one of those movies where you either loved the campy tone, the insane gore, and nutty as a payday bar third act, or those were all reasons why you absolutely hated the movie. There was no middle ground. Personally, I've kind of embraced it for the modern B movie that it is, but I admit I kind of have a bias to weird shit. So what does Malignant have to do with The Watchers? All I'll say is this. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. The first thing I want to express is how impressed I am with Ishana Night Shaymalan as a filmmaker. This seemingly inescapable forest has a great feel to it, and Ishana Night Shaymalan is able to utilize her talents as a filmmaker to utilize things like depth of field and the sound design, even how the forest is color graded. With the fog enveloping it, it's green, but still it feels a little off. Like, our main characters are in Ireland, but Ishana and her team did a really great job of making this forest feel alien. And that is something that a lot of filmmakers aren't able to pull off. And to be able to do that in your first crack as a filmmaker, god damn, be proud of yourself, girl, you got talent. I just want to highlight the opening scene of this movie. I said the same thing about Furiosa, and the same stands here. If you're able to tell a story visually and I don't need the sound and I'm able to completely follow along with what you're doing, you have a great talent as a visual filmmaker. And the opening moments of this movie are absolutely brilliant. It sets the tone of the movie, gives us our stakes immediately. The sound design gives you an idea of how brutal this world is, and it does one little thing to give you a hint of what's to come, even if you don't expect it. And Malignant's wild opening accomplished the same, but really the opening moments of this movie were absolutely fantastic and highlights Ishana Night Shaymalan as a future filmmaker to really look out for. In contrast of this forest that goes from eerily quiet in the daytime to fucking dangerous in the blink of an eye at night when the sun sets, is the room that our main characters stay in. And it is this weird minimalist thing, and it's just this annoyingly yellow hue that is just one table and four chairs. It's a record player and a TV and a VCR that plays the same Bachelor-esque reality game show. It's really claustrophobic with that large two-sided mirror bringing in the creep factor, but also touching on themes of identity as well. And that's where I'll start with the performances, and I really like Dakota Fanning as Mina. It is clear when the movie begins, Mina is at a point of her life where she gives no fucks. The cliche parent died in an automobile accident thing happens to her, but Dakota Fanning is able to carry the guilt of that really well. I think some will see her performance, especially at the beginning, as droopy, but when the story begins, Mina is at a very specific point in her life, and when she is lost in this forest in Ireland to deliver a rare parrot, that's when the story really kicks off and we get to see Mina's transformation and evolution. At her core, Mina is a rule breaker, and that could make her unlikable, but Dakota Fanning is able to play the character with a little bit of pathos and empathy, so you are able to root for her when she does decide that she does not want to be part of the Watchers anymore. Georgina Campbell was pretty good in this. There's not much that I want to divulge about her character because it does play into the narrative structure of the movie, but I will say that I did enjoy her and she did have really good chemistry with everyone in the cast, particularly Oliver Finnegan, who plays the third person in this whole scenario. And he is the one that sort of has the Stanley Kubrick-like stare, what they call the Stanley Kubrick stare, to make him look sus, but really, everyone in this movie is sus. The fourth member of this cast is Irish actress Olwen Fiore, and I just saw her in Tarot, and you know what's funny? You could take this character and swap her with the character in Tarot and vice versa, and I think they would be the same character, and here's why. It has to do with the writing. Now, Olwen in this is good, and I did like her in Tarot, but in Tarot, she served one purpose, which was to be an exposition dump and hold the hands of the audience to let them know of the lore and everything that was going on in the story. And in The Watchers, she serves the same purpose. She's the one with intimate knowledge of the rules, like never turning your back on the Watchers when they are coming, or not leaving the room at night because the Watchers will pretty much tear you apart. But really, she is there, like I said, to hold the hand of the audience and let them know of the lore of this movie. Except when she does decide to go ham on some people. And that is one other thing that Ishana Night Shaymalan does really well. She is really good at amping up the tension and escalating the suspense. These four strangers don't know each other. There are times where each of them have hidden agendas and hidden motives, and that sense of mistrust does build really well throughout the film, especially between Mina and Olwen's character, as they are complete opposites. But they have to also learn to rely on each other if they somehow want to escape. Let's just say trying to break out of an inescapable ordeal with people you don't trust isn't the most ideal of situations. Just ask McCready and Childs. But yeah, I enjoyed the production design. There was one legit jump scare that caught me slipping, and we have a new Silent Hill movie coming out. And if Ishana Night Shaymalan wanted to use this movie as a demo reel to throw her hat into the fire to direct a potential Silent Hill movie in the future, give her a crack at it. It is clear she has learned from her father how to escalate and build suspense, and honestly, that is M. Night Shyamalan's biggest strength. He's able to take these high concept ideas and escalate them and just build the tension with them. And then we get to the third act. Now, I'm not one that likes to use all too common phrases like, oh, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, tee-hee-hee. But the Shyamalan tree must be the size of a fucking Smurf. 1. There is a development in this movie that I did see coming a mile away. But what I didn't see coming was where it went after that. And I now have to read the book that this is based off of because I need to find out if the book ended in the exact same insane manner. I'm not going to spoil anything. Maybe if there's interest and after a couple weeks after people have seen the movie, maybe I'll do a spoiler review. But honestly, this is one of those movies, yes, like Malignant, that the less you know going in, the better it is? Perhaps the less you know, you can consume the movie in its most purest form, and then you can judge it for yourself. So yeah, the one thing I wish was a little stronger in The Watchers was the writing. The Watchers as a concept is a cool idea, and there are a lot of cool and creepy things that were introduced in the film, but I believe that the pacing was off. The second act dragged a little bit once we got the point of the forest. Things kind of went on repeat mode a little bit, and that kind of bogged the film down, which is crazy because the film is really short at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Some of the dialogue was really on the nose, and yes, some of the decisions the characters make in this movie are really stupid. And yes, the deeper we got into the lore of the Watchers, the more batshit things got. But I will say this. When this movie decided to get really weird and really crazy, even after events that I sort of predicted happening, this movie just took a turn that I never expected. And when that happened, I was just like, fuck it, let's go. Overall, The Watchers is a very strong debut for Ishana Night Shaymalan. She has acquired all her father's strengths when it comes to mood, suspense, and escalating tension. The film looks great, and what Ishana is able to do with the Watchers and the forest they reside in at first was really effective, hiding them in the shadows and letting the sound design do the work. But while Ishana gained M. Night's visual flair and even provides some decent scares, she's also fallen prey to her father's penchant for going cray with twists. I think there were 3 plot twists within the span of 15 minutes, and in some respects, it feels like tonal whiplash. At the same time, I have to applaud a movie that is creepy and weird and decides to embrace all its weirdness by turning the volume up to 11. Unless you've read the book and it has the same ending, which I don't know myself, you do not know where this movie goes, and your mileage may vary based on that. Right now, in my immediate feelings, I dig this movie more than I dislike it. It isn't perfect, but it is definitely one of the more interesting movies to come out this year. People who both love and hate the film for similar reasons will have a lot to talk about. For me, The Watchers is a very high hit. I will definitely watch this again to see how I feel about it because, like Malignant, it just loses its damn mind. Maybe that's why I have an affinity for movies like this, because I've lost my damn mind myself several times over. But see this and judge for yourself. What did you think of The Watchers? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.